Hello everyone, today I'm bringing you something that's very interesting. It is a pocket video stabilizer for use with smartphones and the GoPro. This is what you get. Tells you a little bit about on the side here. Tells you pretty much what you get in the box on the back, nothing else. So let's see exactly what you get. Now of course I've already had this out of the box for testing, and you'll see the test footage coming up very soon. You do get a set of instructions. Very easy to read and understand. It even tells you like how to set it up for the GoPro and smartphones and how to like calibrate this, if you will. Get the main unit itself. You get some extra nuts. I'll get to those in a moment. And last but not least, you get the little adapter for the GoPro. Maybe even for a compact camera if you want as well. Now how this works, already included was the phone holder. It's spring activated, and it does hold your phone pretty nice and tight in place. Get this little tension screw arm here, as you can see, and that's part of the way of how you set this unit up. We'll get to that in just a moment. Get this little rubber flap. Do not throw it away. It's actually important because as you're filming, you set it in between the gimbal parts here to keep it steady. So do not throw this piece away. You do get the counterweight on the bottom. That does have a 1/4 screw on the bottom, so if you wanted to mount it onto a tripod, you can. And the counterweight extends. So that's to help counterbalance the weight of your phone. And of course here's the handle. One thing I did notice is on the bottom they got a screw in here, but that is not a 1/4. What is a 1/4? That's your standard mounting screw on all tripods. If you see, it just goes in and out of this really easy, and it doesn't screw in or anything. Now if you screw it into this one, there you go. Now admittedly, this is a cheap generic hand stabilizer. It's basically a counterfeit of the real one called Smoovie. That's S-M-O-O-V-I-E. You can buy that one for 50 bucks on Photo Jojo if you want. This one I got off eBay for just under 10 bucks. Now if you look closely in here at where it all kind of makes sense and works and operates, in this little part here, you can see this little shiny dot, right? If you look inside the bend here, there's another little piece of shiny material in there. Those are actual magnets, so when you're holding it, let me get this out of the way a little bit here. So when you're holding it, the magnets will keep it straight, always straight, so when you're twisting and moving it, it's supposed to bring it right back to center every single time. Now the way you are supposed to calibrate this unit is very simple. Grab your phone. I'm going to use a phone, not the GoPro. And you put it in. And see how it's leaning? You would extend the weight out to help straighten it up. Now see how it's, I don't know if it's really picking up on camera, but it's leaning a little bit to my right. So you would just simply move the phone over a little bit to the right. And if it leans to the left, like it's doing right now, you would simply move it a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit to the left. And then once you get calibrated on the left, on that axis, you see how it's moving back towards my hand? It's because this part is I have to adjust that. So what I got to do is push it forward, the phone forward a little bit in this little bracket until it stands up straight. Then when you finally do get it straight, this little knob, you tighten it down, and then there you go, you'll have it set. Also, one thing I want to point out, right here you can adjust the handle, so how you want to hold it. You can have it all the way up, you can have it, maybe get the phone out of the way. See, this part moves as well. So if you want to have it down a little bit, you can. If you want to have it up. As you can see, it moves quite a bit, right? So let me bring up the rubber stopper. And if you look, there's a little bit of space on that little nub right there on the bottom. You see it? That's where you would put this little flap of rubber. So if it's, say, maybe extremely windy or something out, and then now look, it doesn't move. Unless you hit it really hard, of course. But it's not as free-flowing as it was before. So let's get a little bit more into this. This is kind of like a, not really a soft rubber, but it is a rubber type material here to help protect your phone. Same thing here, and up on top, it's all kind of a, I want to say a rubberized plastic, not necessarily pure rubber. So it will protect your phone from scratches and scrapes, which is pretty nice. I did point out the magnets right here. One thing I didn't show you, I don't know if it'll come on camera very well, there's graduated marks from 1 to probably 11.5. So depending upon how heavy your phone is, you may only need to pull it out to say number 3 when you're calibrating this. Or like me, I just pulled it all the way out and then I calibrated it. Now the way to change this to accept for a GoPro, it's going to go on like this, first of all, before I get into it. And then, you know, the little GoPro mount that comes for the tripod, you would screw it into there. This knob here is a screw that runs all the way through. There's one nut, and then you just pull the screw out like that, put this in, and the really bad part about this is this little piece, this peg right here, be careful because you can lose this thing. So you put it in there like that. Put this on. Then you got to run the screw back through it all. Got to make sure that peg goes down first. And then you screw it on, and then now you can attach your GoPro. So, let's take you outside, and I'll give you a little bit of usage of it with my phone hooked up to it, and you can see for yourself it'll really be worth it, or not. Then we'll come back in here, and I'll give you my opinion on whether the Pocket Video Stabilizer, whether it be this cheap knockoff or whether it be the $50 Smoothie, is really worth it. Okay, so let's see if these little handheld stabilizers are really worth the money that you pay for them. Now they do have some big claims that it helps smooth out your video and things of that nature, but let's just see if they're really worth the money. Okay, now if you notice, I got the little rubber tab in there to keep it kind of steady and keep everything in shot. So as I am walking around, I'm not walking too fast, I'm not going, just like everything that you do, you're supposed to kind of do it nice and smooth type of a motion with any stabilizer. Unless you're spending thousands of dollars on the professional ones, then that's a totally different story. But as you see, I'm doing nice gentle motions. And yes, this video will be, you'll see the evidence. Alright. I think that's fair enough, right? For me to have with the little rubber tab put in to help keep it kind of still. Now what I'm going to do is take the rubber piece out with one hand, and let's see if that makes any difference, shall we? Alright, same movements. And there we go. Same speed. I'm trying to make it as same as fluid as possible as I did before with the rubber tab in place. And I do notice one thing, that when the wind is blowing, the phone does move a little bit in this little portable hand stabilizer. There is a slight breeze out here today. And like I said, that's without the rubber tab on the inside. Alright, let's get you back inside and let's take a peek at all the test footage I've just done. You be the judge. Okay, so let's see if these little handheld stabilizers are really worth the money that you pay for them. Now they do have some big claims that it helps smooth out your video and things of that nature, but let's just see if they're really worth the money. Okay, now if you notice, I got the little rubber tab in there to keep it kind of steady and keep everything in shot. So as I am walking around, I'm not walking too fast. I'm not going, just like everything that you do, you're supposed to kind of do it nice and smooth type of a motion with any stabilizer. Unless you're spending thousands of dollars on the professional ones, then that's a totally different story. But as you see, I'm doing nice gentle motions. And yes, this video will be, you'll see the evidence. Alright. I think that's fair enough, right? For me to have with the little rubber tab put in to help keep it kind of still. Now what I'm going to do is take the rubber piece out with one hand, and let's see if that makes any difference, shall we? Alright, same movements. And there we go. Same speed. I'm trying to make it as same as fluid as possible as I did before with the rubber tab in place. And I do notice one thing, that when the wind is blowing, the phone does move a little bit in this little portable hand stabilizer. There is a slight breeze out here today. And like I said, that's without the rubber tab on the inside. Alright, let's get you back inside and let's take a peek at all the test footage I've just done. If you do happen to buy this one, or even the Smoothie, maybe put a dab of super glue in here just to keep it in there, or maybe warm up the, if you're confident enough, that is, warm up the nut a little bit, shove it back in the hole so maybe it'll melt the plastic a little bit. You don't want it to really burn into the plastic, but just enough so it'll seat a little bit more securely in there. Okay, now my opinion about this video stabilizer. Nope, not worth getting. It really didn't stabilize the video much. It still moved around quite a bit unless you used the little rubber tab. I'm glad I didn't spend 50 bucks on this. I don't mind the $9 and some odd cents I spent for it. There's only one real good thing I can say about it, is since you do got the tripod mount on the bottom, if your tripod happens to be a little short, you got a little bit of a couple extra inches here to extend it in height. That's about the only thing. If you really want, you can unscrew this part, take the handle off, and use it as a small, kind of a very short though, selfie stick if you want. But otherwise, to be honest, these little hand stabilizers are not really worth it. Maybe I just need some more practice at using it, but honestly, no. I'd rather spend a little bit more, maybe a couple $100 and get a really, really good one, as opposed to something like a pocket stabilizer. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please give me a share. Please subscribe. And until then, you have a fantastic day.